So the problem is when people have, let's say, joint pain, they focus on healing the joints. When they have brain, they focus on the brain, like depression or whatever. They take medicine.
Yeah.
So they don't think that there is inflammation. So where is this inflammation coming from? We need to understand and we need to go reverse, backwards, and start from the beginning.
Welcome to the Liver Rescue Detox Summit. I'm Sherry Lewis, your host, and today we have with us Elizabeth. Elizabeth is a graduate from SAC. She's a nutritional therapist and an experienced health coach. Driven by her own healing journey in overcoming multiple health issues, her goal includes healing people heal their gut in a simple step-by-step process that clears all of the symptoms, reverses all disease, and teaches from scratch how to regain the health back so that a person can live their life they've always wanted and never worry about becoming sick again. Welcome, Elizabeth.
Thank you for having me, and it's my pleasure to be here on the summit and share my knowledge and my experience to let the people get the information and understand about their health and what they can do to improve their health. So I'm very honored. Thank you.
Well, thank you, and I'm very grateful to have you here. And I really want to learn more and share with our guest about what it is that you do and how you help people heal their gut. So actually, I'd kind of like to start a little bit though with your story, what led you down this path.
Yeah, so as you know, I'm a nutritional therapist, so I always thought that the nutrition is the one and only solution for all diseases, you know. So nutrition was my best part, and my story was that I had one stressful period in my life, which led me get so many issues like thyroid issues, brain fog, fatigue, bloating, cramps. Everything was like a storm, you know, all of a sudden, skin issues. And I was eating healthy, you know, but I couldn't connect the stress and the health until I realized that stress has a direct impact on creating a leaky gut. And even though you're eating the most healthy food, it can still create inflammation in the body. So I have to learn backwards, you know, how to reverse and heal the leaky gut and continue eating healthy. And of course, de-stress, detoxification, there are a lot of things in place must be to gain the complete healing. Yeah, so we can start. I can explain about, most probably people are asking what is leaky gut. Maybe some of them already know. So leaky gut is, it used to be called intestinal permeability, which means that the gut cells are permeable. So, and the food, the proteins, the toxins are leaking into our bloodstream and causing inflammation everywhere in our body. So how do we know we have leaky gut? So people will ask, you know, how to know. So there is one test, and they can test for zonulin in their stool. And zonulin actually is the protein which our gut cells produce to open the tight junctions so that the nutrients, the vitamins, the minerals, they can be absorbed directly into the bloodstream, which will carry them into all our cells so the cells can perform optimally and give us energy and health, of course. So I think this zonulin, this is a protein that our cells produce, and this is, I think, discovered in 2000 by Dr. Alessio Fasano. So we want to know how leaky gut happens, right?
Yes.
But before I go to that, I want to explain how our digestive system works, like brief overview, how a normal, healthy person should digest the food and get all the nutrients. So normal digestion happens. It starts, of course, everybody will say from the mouth. No, it starts from the brain, right? So when we smell the food, when we are our body is getting ready, it's producing saliva in the mouth. So when we start eating some food, in the mouth, first are digested the carbohydrates. right, from the amylase. Our salivary gland produces amylase. It breaks down the complex carbs into simple carbs, right? The next thing, it goes the food through the esophagus and then in the stomach, right? So what happens in the stomach? And our stomach is getting ready. It's producing gastric acid and HCl, hydrochloric acid. And this is our first defense, you know. This is, the pH should be very, very acidic, like between 2 and 3 pH, which is very acidic. And it's actually killing all the bad bacteria if by accident we ingest, right? And then when the pH is already prepared, then the esophagus sphincter, the muscle, the door is closed and the food starts to be digested. And in the stomach, mainly the proteins are digested and absorbed, and also the B vitamins, right? So later on, when the food is continuing with the digestion, it's continuing from the stomach, it goes in the small intestine. So in the beginning of the small intestine is duodenum. This is a very important part where most of the nutrients are absorbed, most of it. And in this part, the gallbladder releases bile, which is producing the liver, of course, and is stored in the gallbladder, and it's releasing bile and bile acids, which are a little bit higher pH than the HCl. And it's also antimicrobial, antibacterial, so the killing continues, you know, it's selected, only the bad guys are killed here. And these bile salts and bile acids are absorbed, most of the nutrients like minerals, vitamins, and amino acids. These bile acids are 95% water, and then it's bile acids, bilirubins, phospholipids, and also toxic waste materials, which are from the liver, right? So yeah, and together with the lipase from the pancreas, it's digesting the fats, of course, and the fat-soluble nutrients and vitamins, right? And later on, it goes in the colon, and in the colon, in the small intestine, we have a small bacteria, small amount, not very much, but in the colon, we have a larger amount of bacteria, and they continue to digest the food. The thing is that the bile, it's around 95% reabsorbed in the colon, right? So our body is very smart, so it doesn't want to waste anything. So it's reabsorbing the bile and going back to the liver, right, for storage and for detoxification. Especially, you know, if because the liver is the detoxification organ, right? So it's the largest organ in the body, and it has three phases of detoxification, but mainly it's converting the water-soluble toxins and expelling them through the kidneys, right, through the urine, and fat-soluble toxins, which are sent with the bile together in the gallbladder. And we should expel them through the stool. Okay, so the thing is, this is very important. If we are not expelling them, if the person has constipation, if the person has, you know, maybe diarrhea, something is full with toxins, and the constipation makes the stool stay longer in the colon, and it produces more and more toxins. And with reabsorbing the bile, we bring those toxins in the liver again, right? This is normal digestion of our digestive GI tract. So what happens when we, let's say, eat something, let's say we eat an apple which is sprayed with pesticides, herbicides, you know, and these chemicals on the food that are sprayed has, its aim is when the insects bite them, it will tear up their gut and they will die, right? That's the point of spraying the food, so the insects will not eat them, right? Or if they eat them, they will die. So the thing is, when we eat this, we consume this kind of food and sprayed food, we ingest these chemicals and we kill our bugs in our digestive system. So we need our gut bacteria, and we need to have diversity of bacteria. So we don't want to kill them. So 99% they should be a good guys. You know, we have also the bad and the good. So we have bacteria, fungus, microbes, viruses, parasites. We have so many players in our gut, and they all have to be in balance, and they help each other. You know, when they digest the food, they connect, they communicate, they produce different enzymes, so they are like a happy family if they are healthy, right? So they call it now, it's like an organ microbiome. And this is same like, you know, in one country, if everybody is communicating, is cooperating, and they will be healthy community, right?
Yeah.
So what happens when we consume like these toxins? So we kill the good guys, and then what happens? There is more room, space for the bad guys or yeast or fungus to overgrow. And the bad guys, they produce toxins and also lipopolysaccharides. I mean, shell is consists of lipopolysaccharides, and these toxins are damaging our gut wall. And also, if we take, for example, a round of antibiotics, right? So everybody, as far as I know, had taken antibiotics. So antibiotics are also killing the bad, but also they're killing the good guys in our gut, and again creating disbalance. So these toxins and these bad bacteria, yeast, and they are destabilizing our gut and damaging our gut wall. And our gut wall is very, very fragile. It's only one cell layer, right? So we know our skin is 7 to 9 layers, I think, but our gut is only one cell layer. So if we damage it, if we achieve that all the toxins, the bad bacteria, the viruses, they can leak through the gut and go into our bloodstream, and our bloodstream will take them everywhere in the whole body, and our immunity then reacts. It treats them. It can be a food particle, like protein from some food, which shouldn't be there. It should be in our intestines to be digested, and the bacteria should make all the nutrients bioavailable for us to absorb it. But if you don't have the good bacteria, then all these food particles, which are healthy food, you know, some people are saying, okay, I'm eating everything healthy and I'm reacting to healthy food, or autoimmune diet I'm following, you know. But the main problem is the leaky gut. So even if the food is healthy, if we have a leaky gut, we will create inflammation. So our immunity is reacting, you know, it's trying to kill it. And we have, I don't know, million, trillion different immune cells. And some of them are very dangerous. You know, they're fighters, they're like suicide bombers. If there is a toxin or protein or something somewhere in our body, they come and they're full with enzymes, with chemicals, and they're throwing everything at the bacteria or at the virus, at the whatever is they're treating as a foreign thing. And when they do that, they damage the surrounding tissue. It's collateral damage, you know. That's called inflammation. So constant inflammation, our immunity is constantly battling something. It can be, let's say, if it's taking longer time, if this issue is not solved in time, then we have more and more tissue damage, more and more. So all of a sudden people experience like, oh, my thyroid is not working perfect. Oh, I have pain in my joints, you know, or I have brain fog. Oh, so inflammation in the brain, like, or I have skin issues. So, you know, your immunity is trying to protect you, trying to kill these foreign substances, is showing you that there is inflammation and there is something going on. You need to take some measure. So the problem is when people have, let's say, joint pain, they focus on healing the joints. When they have brain, they focus on the brain, like depression or whatever. They take medication. So they don't think that there is inflammation. So where is this inflammation coming from? We need to understand and we need to go reverse, backwards, and start from the beginning. Start living a healthy life, start healing the gut, and stop the inflammation, reduce the inflammation, and then slowly symptoms will go away. Right. So it's not just taking a medication and masking the symptoms, right?
That's I like how you explain that and how you walked us through all of that, because it creates such a beautiful picture. Because you're right, how many people don't think it's, I want to get rid of that brain fog or the joint pain, but the source is where we really need to go. So you answered a lot of my questions, but I like how you did it, because you did it in a nice order that kind of put everything together and created this nice picture for us and how everything works together. So I do have a question though about you mentioned, some things about the gut and the liver and the connection, but then you also mentioned to a few other things, because the gut is so connected to the brain and brain fog. And which just made me think of, like, what type of foods do you see as being triggers when people have leaky gut? Are there specific foods that you notice that are bigger triggers than other foods?
Yeah, I have noticed in most of, maybe I can say 99.9% of my clients, they have issues with gluten, dairy, and and sugar.
Mm-hmm.
So, and also, of course, sprayed food. So we need to focus more on organic food. So, but as I said, it's not only the food. The stress, the cortisol, it's directly creating instantly leaky gut. When we are under stress, the digestive system shuts down, so it's not important. All the blood supply goes in the muscles, in the brain, to run away, to think we have exam or something. Then digestive system is not important. The food is not digesting properly, and also the reproductive system is not important, right? So when you're in fight or flight, you need to save your life, not to reproduce. Right? That's why many people who have infertility, they may be in the stress mode. Yeah. And also, I want to mention toxins. Okay, this is very important because the scientists have tested in 2008, I think. Let me check. 2008, in human cells, only they found there is 10 toxins, but in 2018 there was 500 toxins. So there are more and more toxins that around us. We live. I mean, we cannot escape that. This is toxic world, and we are breathing toxins. Depends where you live. If you live near the highway, near some field which is sprayed, so depends what you're eating. Of course, detoxification should be our everyday thing. Right? It's not just like people say, "Oh, I have done a detox, 1 month detox, and I'm okay now." No, because there are, I think, 100,000 known toxins, chemicals in the world, and of which 85,000 are registered, and half of them are cancerogenic, of course. So it's proven to be cancerogenic, right? And I want to also mention about the liver, because liver is our major filter organ. It's a detoxification organ, right? So we know. And what happens when the liver is detoxifying our body? It's converting them, of course, the toxins, water soluble and fat soluble. But what happens when there is more than it can handle, right? It has to store it somewhere, and it's storing the toxins in the fat cell. So that's why some people may develop fatty liver. Even skinny people, doesn't have fat on their body, but they have fatty liver. And the toxins, as I said, they are stored in the fat cells, and our brain is 95% fat. So when we experience like brain fog, lower concentration, memory issues, I used to have them all, And I couldn't when I was making conversation, I needed time to process the question so that I can give an answer. It didn't come immediately. And also I had problem with memory. I couldn't, when I was studying something, when I was learning something, I needed like 2 months for one subject, which I now do in 1 week. So so I was thinking, I'm not stupid. I can not memorize things. Why is happening to me? What is happening to me? So, our brain fog and is definitely from the toxins that are maybe from the bad bacteria that we have established, developed leaky gut, and they're leaking through the gut, or the liver is overburdened with toxins, and it's also dumping it with the bile in the gallbladder, and then the gallbladder maybe cannot, if there are more toxins, then we can develop like gallbladder stones or same liver stones, And also I want to connect this with the digestive system, because when, in this case, when the liver is overtoxic, it will produce less bile, right? Cannot function optimally. And when there's less bile produced and less bile is released in the intestines, in this case, less HCl is produced. So they communicate, they want to balance themselves. So when there is less HCl produced, then we have indigestion, right? We cannot digest. There is not enough acid to digest the food. So the esophagus sphincter will not close. It thinks that, the HCl is not where it should be, and he thinks that more food should be coming. And the food is actually staying there and fermenting and rotting. It may create like indigestion and acid reflux, and people think that that's too much acid, right? So the acid is not, should be more acid, like 2 to 3. If there is 5 or 6 and it's coming here, you feel it acidic, but it's not at the pH level that it should be. So in this case, people take what they take, PPIs, right? They take proton pump inhibitors, they take anti-acid medication, and they make the situation worse. So in this case, they kill the protective barrier, which is the acid. In this case, more of the bacteria, viruses that they ingest killed our good bacteria, and then create further down the track a worse disbalance. Then we have bloating, we have cramps, pain, then we have from the toxins from the bacteria, then we have colon cancer, and we develop such huge issues, if everything is interconnected. If it's not in the balance, then disease happens.
Yeah. So with that, and that was really a good point, the fact that people think that they need to be taking antacids when they're having acid reflux, and they're actually making the problem worse. While it feels like they're making it better, it's actually making it worse. What type of foods do you see as being healing foods to help people heal? You mentioned some that are really good to stay away from. So are there any specific ones that you would say just really help to soothe the gut, to help to support it in that whole healing process?
The way I work with my clients, I follow certain steps, and those are, it's also healing foods that we need to take, but also the first step is lowering the inflammation. So this means to calm the inflammation in the body and eliminate the triggers, whether that be like some food that they're eating, or some toxins they're consuming or breathing or putting on their skin, doesn't matter. So we need to eliminate the triggers, and during that time we need to incorporate like good food, like maybe some supplements. I recommend also bone broth, which is good, but it needs to be prepared in a special way. And for different people, some they're reacting, they have histamine intolerance, so it's different preparation, shorter time. And aloe vera is also good, and L-glutamine is good. usually more soft food, like boiled food and easy to digest, which is already partially, when it's boiled, is partially broken down. It's much easier for the gut, so we lessen the symptoms, we make it make less bloating, less cramps, less pain, and the stool, we are creating the stool to be a normal stool, a regular stool and normal. So we will expel the toxins, we will not have constipation. The people who have diarrhea are experiencing normalizing also the stool. Yeah, and this is the 2 steps. And then the 3rd step is bringing the good bacteria. Okay, so once we seal the gut wall, we close the gates, we close them. So now we are bringing the good bacteria back in, and then we feed them. Okay, so they should be happy, and they will produce, they will assimilate the nutrients for us and make them bioavailable so our body can absorb them and be happy and healthy, right? And also during this whole process, as I said, detoxification, it's like a no-brain, everybody should do it on a daily basis.
Right.
And there are different kinds of detoxification that anybody can choose whatever it suits them the best, and can be adjusted. If they should work with somebody who knows how to adjust their protocol, their way of healing, right? And of course, stress management, as I said, it doesn't matter if you're taking the best supplements or the best food. If you're under stress all the time, the healing will not happen. And then you end up, eating less and less food, and you start reacting on these few food types that you're consuming, and you're wondering why I'm not healing, right? Because maybe you're under constant stress, and it doesn't let you heal, doesn't let your gut heal, your leaky gut, right? Plus movement, exercise. Our body is designed, for movement, and it's actually exercise. It doesn't have to be like hardcore, gym exercise. Just simple walking can create positivity and clear the brain and give you more energy, help with the healing process, because when you're positive, when you think positively, you believe that the healing is happening, and it has a higher chance of having a success rate. Yeah, and faster.
Yeah. I definitely have seen that in my clients as well, that the ones who have a more positive attitude heal a lot faster. I think that attributes just to our emotional well-being, as can be a roadblock for our healing process. So that's a good point. Very good point. So do you have any other tidbit that you would like to share with our audience today?
Yeah, so many people, they're confused and overwhelmed. They're reading so many things on internet, and they're trying so many things, and sometimes it's working, sometimes it's not, so that they cannot, connect the dots, and to start from the beginning and follow the proper process, steps in the healing process. It's not just okay, I'll take the best supplements for gut health, like we mentioned, and it may temporarily help. You can feel maybe some changes, but that's not the way we achieve complete body healing. People ask me, how do I heal leaky gut? I can, it's not just so simple. Yeah, take these supplements and you will be healed.
Yes, right.
Yes.
Right.
What I suggest that people do, they can start on their own with just simple things, just avoiding gluten, dairy, and sugar. I usually do this challenge, 3 days gluten, dairy, and sugar-free challenge twice a year. So anybody who follow me, they can join. And with the recipes, with some simple exercises, juices, and distress techniques, just in 3 days, people are experiencing huge changes, So this is like a good place to start for the people who don't know from where to start. They're trying so many things that they don't know. So this is like a basic thing to start. And our aim is to create at the end, diversity in our gut, and to, as I said, when there is disbalance, when it's one, let's say yeast or bad bacteria overgrowth, then it seemed like, like I said, in some country, when there is diversity in the world, when we appreciate each other, we communicate, we help each
Mhm.
other, then prosperity happens, right? So it's not good if one dominates, There is the war, there is suffering, there is killing. So we don't want that. We want everybody to live happily ever after. So, and to help each other, to be friends, to live together in unity, right? No wars, no fighting,
Right, right.
and everybody is equal, right?
Hmm. Works together and helps one another inside our body as well. So,
Inside
um,
and outside. Yeah.
yes, yes. Well, you have a gift for our guest. So, would you like to tell them about that?
Yeah, so I want to give our viewers 10 gut-friendly recipes that they can immediately start preparing them. And in these recipes, there are the 10 key ingredients for good gut health.
Mhm.
And they're explained, the ingredients are explained and how and why they help with the healing the gut. So they can go to the link. I will give the link, and they can register and receive these 10 gut-friendly recipes in their email and start feeding their gut right away.
Oh, wonderful. Well, thank you. That sounds like a lovely gift. And that link is going to be along on the page that you access this video. So you'll be able to access that link on that same page. So thank you very much, Elizabeth, for being here and for sharing what it is that you do and how you help people heal their gut. I'm very excited for our audience to be able to view this and to try out your recipes. So it sounds wonderful.
Thank you very much. And if they want how to find me, if they want to follow me, they can find me on Facebook, Elizabeth Healing Leaky Gut. It's simple. I'm focusing on healing the leaky gut. So Elizabeth Healing Leaky Gut on Facebook. And also on YouTube, I have like more than 100 videos explaining from liver, from gallbladder, from leaky gut, from stress, anything that they need to focus on. And my YouTube channel is All for Better Life, all together. All for Better Life. Okay. And same Instagram, same name, and podcast, same name. So they can find everything that I do and to be informed.
Yeah, and I think we'll have those links in there as well. So just, yeah, check out the email and look for all those links for Elizabeth so that you can reach her at all of those different social media posts. So wonderful. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you for inviting me, and thanks for
Yes.
having me.
Yes. Thank you so much.